vehicle up. That bolted the camper, and hopefully we won't get a big snowstorm, because this is not maintained up here. Well, it's actually not maintained during the winter beyond the last ranch down in the valley out there, about 4 miles from here. I took the backpack, Kramer's and mine, up here a couple miles up in front of us, and placed them, left them there, hoping a bear won't come along and tear hell out of things. The Continental Divide is synonymous to wind, and windy it is. The willows are ready for winter, and winter is here. It might be lacking the snow, but it's not lacking the cold. And this is Cottonwood Creek. There are no cottonwood trees up here. It's too high elevation. But I leave it to the people who named it. So a couple months ago, 2.5 months, I suppose, somewhere in there, we were here, green flowers in August, and of course the water was, the little pond here, or lake, was water, not ice. So here we go. This time without Carlene and Zach, and it's just Kramer and I. But we're going to do a little bit more than Meadow Creek. Yeah, a whole lot of a little more. There's a little more snow on this leg than the last one. This is where the trail comes down here. One would not know it, we certainly didn't. That branch right there was sticking up out of this bog, indicating the trail was here. Yeah, we followed the trail onwards. There's a stick down here in the water, and I mean a stick, Carlene. That's so funny. I guess that's the indication where the trail goes. There's a couple of branches up there some hikers put in, pointing in this direction. The main trail just goes right up the canyon, just a beautiful trail. And this here is almost invisible. Now about the water. I mentioned it in the last few minutes ago. This water is undrinkable when the cattle are up here during the summer. When the hikers come through here in August, September, July even. But right now, when cattle have been out here for quite some time now, this water is clear. Clear, clean, and good to drink. Straight on. I don't need it, but just thought I happened to mention that. I wouldn't hesitate if I was thirsty or needed to fill water up into my containers. So once out of the draw, I know where the trail is. Can't really see it at first, but then it comes into something like this. Not so bad. I'm showing you these gloves. They're rubber, they're Nalgene, they're waterproof, non-breathable. This water is cold. I have restricted blood flow in my fingers, particularly my left hand. And but even in the days before I had these problems with my hands, I was using these gloves. I learned to use these gloves in the wintertime. and it staves off the cold while I'm getting the water, when the water is available. So, and right there at the saddle, behind these trees, in the center of the picture, is where I am headed right now. Goodbye, Meadow Creek. Maybe I'll see you again. That's the way we just came. The valley with the ranches and Nicholia Creek and meadow, and this is where we're going. That spring down there is on the map. Looks all ice now. Steep trail for being on a canyon floor. This is Coyote Creek drainage, the headwaters. Further up, I didn't see any headwaters. I saw head ice. This is Tex Creek. And like other streams at this time of the year, while during the summer and the fall, short as the fall may be, this water is not usable, not really. One can use it if they boil it, things like that, but now it's clean. That's the point I want to make. It's I drink it straight on. There are no cattle up here this time of the year, and believe it or not, in a scene like this, cattle graze. Pretty impressive. Okay, my wife says she's going to pick me up Monday. And this is Thursday. I got to figure out how many miles that is. And from here, anytime I'm getting inside the tent, I'm wiped out. So is Kramer. Smile, Kramer, you're on video. You goofy guy, you. He's such a good guy. Goodbye to the cliffs. Goodbye to the cliffs and the mountain. Nice little neighborhood. I believe I will be back here. This is very nice. The only downside to it is it's a cattle area during the summer. So I suppose it would be about June, be the time to come in here. The water will be clean, everything will be green, and it would be very nice. I'm thinking it might have been at one time, but mostly it's used by cattle to come off the top up here to come down and get some water, in which they develop a habit, and habits create trails. And that is a nice sight. Resupply, intact. So we can unload garbage and load up food and a little fuel. Not going to need much of the fuel though. Don't even really need the food. Still going to take it though. And I'll fill the bottles that are in the pack. Put this back up in the tree. Kramer was really delighted to get that pack off. He always is. What he doesn't know is when I put the pack back on, it's going to weigh a little more. About the same as it weighed when we left the trailhead. This is the headwater of Indian Spring, I guess is what it's called. Some circles. And it's the headwater of Indian Creek. And quite literally comes out of the mountain right there with a hill. And there's Kramer. He's ready to get in to the tent. So I made a mistake yesterday afternoon when I was building the camp here. Now, the prevailing wind is from this direction, the northwest or west, and coming across. But last night, or yesterday afternoon, it biffed me from that direction, the east, northeast. And maybe even the north. I know it got a little chilly last night, 11 degrees Fahrenheit for a low. But I took the tent, and two things I did wrong. One would have partially alleviated the air of the first item. The first thing I should have done was the head of the tent. That's this down here is where my head goes. This was supposed to be reversed with the head down here. And then button down, which I did. I buttoned this down strongly with 3 extra stakes. But as long as I insisted on doing it this way, I really should have broke these loose and buttoned down here. And I did not do that. Boy, what a swinging time we had in the late afternoon, early evening, and into darkness. Now there's something else I want to bring out. I made it almost 6 miles, or 6 miles to this point. But the last 1.25 miles, a couple with a ATV, that's all-terrain vehicle, hauled my backpack and Kramer's backpack up here from Morrison Lake. And otherwise I would have spent the night there. And the reason I asked them to do that, and which they were delighted to do, and good people, and I walked up here from there, and geez, if I could walk like that with a backpack, boy. The reason I asked him to do it is because of my back. He's in a lot of pain, and I've actually considered spending 2 nights at this location, but I'm not going to. I'm going to put the pack on and head up the trail. The problem with that, and it's a hell of a problem for me as far as I'm concerned, maybe not for you out there listening, is that I'm going up there, and lots of climbing. Not not a bad deal for me to climb where the back is concerned. It's the descents where the trouble begins. I'm going to be climbing over 2,000 feet today to my next camp. My next camp is 8 miles away. And the reason it's got to be the next camp is because that's where the water is. And I can't carry the water, enough water to have a dry camp up here. I tried that a couple weeks ago, and that's what spent my back. And I obviously have not recovered from it yet. And it hurt me over near Garfield Mountain and Red Conglomerate Peaks. And so the pain is removed and recovery is rather rapid inside the tent laying down through the night. But those descents that are inevitable descents are up ahead. I don't know, one of them is at least 1,000 foot deep. And but I got to do it in order to make it that 8 miles to the next water. And don't get me wrong, there's water along the way. If one feels like dropping down 800 or 1,000 feet, some of these draws, and kind of defeats the purpose of in many different ways. In the first place, dropping down is, as I've already said, is a bad thing for me. So I'm going to continue, and I don't know what the temperatures are going to be like here in the this afternoon, today, more importantly tonight. And what I do know is that daylight is being wasted right now where I need to be on the trail, and I get as much time in before darkness hits. And it would be a hell of a note, though, if I have to build a camp, a dry camp, that is to say I don't make it to the next watering hole. I have a little extra water in here, not much. I don't dare carry much. And I'll have enough so the dog and I only get a little thirsty. If I get real tired and I run into a snowbank, I'll have my water. And I'll build a camp prematurely in that manner. That would be the one saving grace I have, are snowdrifts that are up there. And I know they're there because I've been up there with a vehicle. And put a resupply in at the base of Elk Mountain. So I'll get going now, and I hope I do better today than I did yesterday. Okay, here's the deal, Kramer. Right there is the rest of our climb. We almost got this climb. Unfortunately, we're getting ready to start the next climb already. Yeah, and the wind continues. Looks like somebody's campfire or something got away from the valley floor over there to the east of me yesterday afternoon. Boy, it really is moving along. Burned the hell out of a lot of stuff over there. I'm no longer under pressure to make that 8 miles to that spring for my next camp. All this snow out here, we'll have plenty of water. I just need to keep going until I can't go anymore. Montana, Idaho. I can't tell if I'm in Idaho or Montana here. Really don't matter. What really matters, though, is the wind. And the wind has been non-stop, which is, well, that's the way it works on the Continental Divide, at least right this time of the year. And I'm braced for the wind on this side, and as much as possible. it's not impermeable, but it's in pretty good shape. And there's approximately 100 pounds of weight as far as these rocks are concerned. These three here, oh, I didn't use that one or that one. These three here, and then in there and over here with the rest of it. And again, I'm not going to set this up. I'm not going to open my vent. Bloody hell, why would I? This 2-season or 3-season tent is well, it's rather airy in these kind of winds. Here is my water supply, the snowpack. So I got a lot of work to do just to get water. And Kramer's being just typical Kramer, being patient, close by. We got work to do. Okay, enough said. All right, this is where we spent the night last night, and parts at the bottom of the tent that it lasted as long as it did, although it's a relatively new tent. It's no surprise, it doesn't take much. It was these right here that did it, and ultra lightweight tents are like that. They have no strength in their certain areas. That's why they recommend a footprint. Anybody know why they would recommend a footprint for an ultra lightweight tent? Doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of ultra lightweight? There's me, that is in the shade, a shadow of me. And up ahead is where we're headed. The next camp should be on Elk Mountain. At one point last night, temperature made it down to 18 degrees. And then the wind started up again, but only in a breeze. And the temperature, I think, may have made it up to 28 degrees last night. I don't know, 2 this morning, 3 this morning, somewhere in there. And yeah, wind is a two-edged sword. Now the fire, the smoke is still there, and there's still even a little bit of fire. I guess that's what they call mop up. And I got more information on this fire. Plus, I just want to mention I'm watching the firefighting going on. I don't know if there's people on the ground fighting it. I assume so. What I do know is there was at least one CH-47 helicopter involved, and it may have been 2 of them. On the other hand, it may have been that one, just one, moving so goddamn fast that it looked like there was 2 of them over there. And that helicopter's been going back and forth from the fire to Morrison Lake. Imagine that was a little tricky deal there too. Morrison Lake's half froze over, or at least it was when I walked by it a couple of days back. So back to this here fire thing. More information I got was from some other hunters. They said apparently at a hunting camp, someone got their stove in their hot tent going a little too hot. There's a mishap and burned the tent down. Of course, and caught the woods on fire. And you know, that's what an action of foolishness looks like, or can look like. Have a tough time judging the individual. I know damn good and well he's heartbroken, very afraid of the consequences, not sleeping real well, regretting like hell what happened. I really feel for him. We all do foolish and say foolish things. It's the consequences we don't know what they are going to be. Indeed, Most of the time when we're doing or saying something foolish, we're not aware. We don't realize it until we get there, past it and have a look back and say, oh my God, I can't believe I've done that. Oh shit, did I say that? Let's get out of here before they discover. No need to go back there ever again. Whoa. Okay, there's a wind here, but I'm going to show the Elk Mountain, and then at the bottom of this ravine that I'm getting ready to go through this fence and down into is my next resupply, if it's still there. Elk Mountain. There's the ravine. There's also a water down there. And there's the resupply. This little thing is set up, was put together by the backcountry horsemen. They do a lot of good work in the backcountry. And this is where the water comes out of the mountain. And there's a hose there that feeds down to the stock tank outside this pen here. This prevents the animals from, not the elk or the deer, but the cattle. Prevents them from coming in and trashing that area out. And but this is where we watered up, right there. And the fence didn't stop Kramer and I. And so we're headed up the mountain now. It's 2 o'clock, so it's running late this November 1st. Sunset is about 5:15 or so. So time's wasting. About 200 feet before this Jeep trail ends, and it all becomes trail system. And but we the point of interest I want to show here is this the deadfall. And but right here we put our camper in here and pick up a couple of summers ago, maybe even 3 years ago. Very pleasant, very, very nice. Look at that dog. Very pleasant, very nice. On the wrong day would have become a nightmare. Probably happened at night too. Maybe I'm wrong though. The point though is if we'd been here, that pleasant time wouldn't have been so pleasant, huh? That hollow there at the top, kind of a saddle up there, that's where I'm headed. During the summer anyway, there's a stock tank up there with running water. Hopefully it's running now. Okay. This is up on the side of Elk Mountain, on the south side. There's the stock tank, it's empty. And while I was building camp, I had my bladders and 2 saucepans down here. And I had more than enough time building camp. That is, I had more than enough time filling the bladders while building camp. And with that little trickle of water, I came up with this. And pure, clean, and oh my God, it's cold water. I took a hit off of it a few minutes ago. The saucepan was full. Now I don't need all this water. I need a fraction of it. But it's there, so I got it, and I had time. So this is it. And now I believe I'm going to go into the tent. I see that fire still smoking over there in the distance. Had a visitor last night and this morning, ATV. He didn't come to my camp. He's not supposed to be up here. So he shied away from my camp, I suppose. Maybe for other reasons too, but he knows he's not supposed to be here. That trail is blocked, and he removed the blockage to get through and to come on up. Straight ahead, but not the direction I'm taking to get there, is Elk Mountain. Okay, I'm not on the summit yet. It's up there. And the trail is switchbacking. I'm running into some fairly good snow. Patches like this. Fortunately here I can get around rather easily. A little bit below me here, less than 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, I was running into stuff that was stuff I'm not equipped for, much less my dog. Okay, there's Elk Mountain, as the sign says. It also says 11 miles to Bannock Pass. Huh. By my stuff is, it's not 11 miles, more like 9 or 10 miles. Yeah, well, whatever it is what it is, I suppose. Whether they're right or I'm right, doesn't matter. I still got to hike it. It's a long way, particularly with the way this trail is looking right here. Not good. Okay, I'll give you a view, and then I'm going to shut off. And I have cell service up here, so I'm going to give my wife a call, and I told her to hold up from coming to get me till I get a look at this north face. Now I don't get to see right now the real north face, which is off in the distance over here, but I think I'm going to be okay. Storming is coming. It's going to arrive Thursday. That means I definitely will be leaving the trail and resetting up and preparing for the deeper winter. And the gear I'm presently carrying is the maximum that I can carry, and it's a little less than 60 pounds, and it's actually over the weight that I want to carry. And with a heavier winter coming, that's moisture and cold, I'm assuming, afterwards. This gear won't protect me well enough, and so I'll go back and set up for the heavier winter, which includes snowshoes and sled, because I'm going to need a heavier gear, more gear, bigger tent, tougher tent, things like that. Slower speed, much more food is going to be needed, double to triple the amount of food. So I've got to set up for it and consider myself blessed I got as far as I have in these conditions. Okay, so far this is what it looks like up ahead. So it's this one strip of snow, typically on the trail, and it's where the least amount of wind is, so it deposits itself there in deep piles, and it'll be the last to melt off. And coming down it, well, this is the way we're going, And that's the way we came. And over there is Elk Mountain. And saw this last August when we were in here, the four of us. That'd be Carlene, Kramer, Zach, and I. And I just knew I had to see this one more time under different conditions. And I am pretty cool. All right, we're going down to a flat down there next to the snowpack. And we're going to set up camp for the night. Won't be much longer now. We're on the south face slab, and just up ahead there's a little open area there that's seen in the video. This side of it there's a flat with snow on it and open ground, bare ground that is, and that's where we're going to put in for the night. We'll have snow for water for the kitchen and a flat spot for the tent. Okay, there's one final view, I imagine. Elk Mountain. You can see the tracks or the trail of the Continental Divide. White lines. And this is the valley over in Montana, cattle country. And it's somewhat remote. Bannock Pass over here at the head of the valley, about 7 miles from here along the trail, and it's about 45 miles from the Interstate 15. And on the other side, though, in Idaho, it's about 15-20 miles from a little one gas station town by the name of Lador. This is a semi-dry camp. There's always water if there's snow. And right now I got some out of there. I'll be getting some more. And if I need more, there's even more up here. This is an unbelievable temperatures. November 2nd. And just warm, very warm out here. Of course, on the other hand, my body is getting itself attuned to some really low temperatures over the last 6 days. And that might have something to do with it also. So this is the last camp on this leg. And actually I did not expect that I was going to be making this camp. But things didn't work out with my wife back at home, and she made a late start, so we stopped it. Plus, more importantly, she had to come, except I told her not to. I didn't think I would come this far. My back was hurting so badly. And I noted that right from the gate that the pack was top heavy. And when I left camp this morning, I didn't do anything about it. That was a mistake. And the result of that is I'm up here instead of with my wife tonight. And I'll be fine tomorrow. I did okay once up on top, out in this area behind the trees, I reshifted the load some, and that helped. It didn't, the damages were already done though, so I was, the pain in the back only subsided. It didn't go quite away. That won't happen until tonight in bed. All right. Okay. Kramer's ready. I'm ready. That away. This is day 7 along the Continental Divide trail. Continental Divide with or without the trail. And weather is coming. This is Tuesday. It'll start with rain on Thursday. And from there, it'll soon become snow. And that'd be Thursday, I think Thursday night. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right through the extended forecast. I'll be putting resupplies in preparation for that before I head back to Helena. And what we got here is a whole bunch of ravens, and so far only one bald-headed eagle. There, he just landed up here. Now these guys, and this bunch does not do this unless there's a body down there. Okay, there's two bald-headed eagles. That's figured because they do fly in pairs. And down in this gulch, I have no doubt that down in that gulch is a pile of guts. Now, is there a bear down there? Well, these ant birds seem to be flying around quite a bit. They ain't getting nothing ate by doing that. Which is not a good sign, because I'm right up here on the edge of this. You see, when the bear is feeding, he don't let the birds feed, and they circle around until that bear gets his fill, and then they come back, they come down and they get their fill. Yeah. Enough said. Time to start walking. This is the hill, the descent. Carleen would refuse to go down, drive down, and this is as far as she will go, coming this way to pick me up. I'm about 50 feet, maybe 100 feet of walking to do to get to the top of this. And then if I like, I can take a break. By the way, 5 minutes ago I saw a red ant. November 3rd, Montana and Idaho border. Hard to believe. November 3rd, Tuesday, 2020. I can think of a hell of a lot worse places to be than where I am right now on this very important presidential election day. Yeah, I can think of a lot worse places to be than here. I am, as my wife puts it, I am so blessed.